All right, so get this. We are diving deep today into something pretty mind-blowing.
Oh, yeah.
Axolotl limb regeneration.
Wow.
Those salamanders.
Right.
They can regrow, like, entire limbs.
Yeah.
It's wild. We've got a stack of research articles here from, like, top institutions.
So cool.
The National Institute of Child Health and Human Development. And let me tell you, it's like peeking into the future of medicine,
It really is fascinating. What's so remarkable is that axolotls can regrow an entire limb throughout their lives.
That's crazy.
With all the bones, muscles, and nerves perfectly intact, it's a level of regenerative ability that humans can only dream of right now.
It's like something straight out of a sci-fi movie.
It is.
In fact, one of the sources has this photo of young alligators.
Okay.
And one is regrowing its tail. And get this, the new growth is as thick as a human arm.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder, if an alligator can pull that off, could size really be a barrier to regeneration
Yeah.
in another species?
That's a great question. And the alligator example certainly challenges our assumptions. It suggests that size might not be the limiting factor we once thought it was. So, how do axolotls achieve this incredible feat? Well, their limb regeneration unfolds in 3 key phases: wound healing, dedifferentiation, and redevelopment.
Okay, I'm already hooked. Let's break those down. First up, wound healing. Is it just me, or do axolotls, seem to heal crazy fast?
You're absolutely right. Axolotls heal at an astonishing rate compared to mammals. We're talking hours versus days for a wound to close. And here's the kicker. Less scarring means more potential for regeneration.
So speed and minimal scarring are crucial. But what about this dedifferentiation thing? That sounds a bit complicated.
It might sound complex, but think of it like this. Imagine mature, specialized cells in the body like skin cells, muscle cells, or nerve cells hitting a rewind button and reverting to a more basic stem cell-like state. It's like they forget their specialized roles for a while.
So it's like they're going back to their teenage years when they had more potential.
Exactly. This cellular flexibility is key to rebuilding the limb because those dedifferentiated cells can then become any type of cell needed to form the new limb.
That's amazing. Our sources actually delve into the specifics of what happens to different cell types during this process. Muscle cells, for example, break down into individual cells before rebuilding. And cartilage cells.
Yeah.
Well, there's evidence they can either revert to a more basic cell type or potentially even transform into a different type altogether.
That's right. And that level of cellular plasticity is incredibly exciting. It suggests that even highly specialized cells might have more regenerative potential than we realize. We just haven't figured out how to tap into it yet.
Now, on top of these amazing cellular processes, our research highlights another crucial element: the wound epithelium.
Right.
It's the skin layer that rapidly covers the amputation site. What's so special about it?
Well, the wound epithelium transforms into a unique structure called the apical epithelial cap, or AEC for short. And this AEC is essentially the control center for regeneration. It releases specific signaling molecules like fibroblast growth factors, or FGFs, that act as messengers, guiding cell growth and organization during the regeneration process.
Hold on, FGFs. Those sound familiar. Don't they also play a role in how limbs develop in embryos?
They do. In fact, FGFs are crucial for limb development in all vertebrates, from salamanders to humans. It highlights a fundamental connection between development and regeneration.
And here's where it gets really exciting. One of our sources, a study from a top research institution, describes an experiment where scientists successfully triggered some degree of limb regeneration in frogs animals that normally don't regenerate limbs, simply by applying FGF10.
That experiment was a game changer. It demonstrated that we can potentially manipulate these signaling pathways to stimulate regeneration, even in animals that have lost that ability.
That's incredible. It sounds like we're getting closer to understanding the secrets of regeneration.
We are. And as we delve deeper, we're discovering even more fascinating players in this regeneration symphony. For instance, research focusing on mouse digit tip regeneration has revealed the crucial role of a gene called MSX1.
MS1, what's so special about that gene?
Well, MSX1 seems to act as a kind of brake on cell specialization,
Oh, right.
essentially keeping cells in a more youthful, regenerative state.
Okay.
You see, as cells mature, they become very good at their specific jobs,
Right.
but they lose some of their flexibility.
Interesting.
MSX1 helps to keep those cells a little bit more adaptable, which is crucial for dedifferentiation.
So MSX1 is like the fountain of youth for cells,
That's a great way to think about it.
helping them stay regenerative. That's fascinating.
And as we uncover these molecular players, we're starting to see the intricate connections between regeneration development
Okay.
and even aging.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground here. Rapid wound healing, cellular dedifferentiation, signaling molecules like FGFs, the AEC, and now this MSX1 gene. It's amazing how axolotls manage to orchestrate all of this to regrow a perfect limb.
It really is a remarkable symphony of biological processes. And the more we learn about it, the more we realize how much potential it holds for human medicine.
Speaking of human medicine, some of our sources highlight the challenges of getting mammals, like us, to regenerate in the same way that axolotls do.
Right.
One of the big roadblocks seems to be scar formation. Why is that such a problem?
Well, remember how we talked about how axolotls heal so quickly with minimal scarring? Well, that's key. Scar tissue, while part of the normal healing process in mammals,
Yeah.
can actually disrupt regeneration. It creates a physical and biochemical barrier that prevents cells from properly communicating and organizing to rebuild the lost tissue.
So scar tissue is like a wall that blocks the regeneration process.
Yeah.
It's almost like our bodies prioritize like quick patching over true rebuilding.
That's a good analogy. And that difference in healing strategy seems to be a major factor in why mammals are generally less regenerative than creatures like axolotls.
Now, I was reading a research article from Brigham and Women's Hospital, and it mentioned that salamanders can not only regenerate limbs, but also hearts, brains, and even parts of their spinal cords.
That's incredible.
It makes you wonder, if we could unlock the secrets of limb regeneration, could we potentially apply those same principles to regenerate other organs too?
That's a truly fascinating question, and it's one that researchers are actively exploring. While each organ presents its unique challenges, there might be some fundamental principles of regeneration that are shared across different tissues.
It's like finding a master key that unlocks the regenerative potential of our entire body. So what are some of the specific strategies researchers are focusing on to translate these axolotl insights to humans?
Well, one area of intense focus is on biomaterials and scaffolds. These are essentially artificial structures that can be implanted at the injury site to mimic the natural environment of the axolotl limb, providing support and guidance for cells to regenerate.
So it's like giving ourselves a blueprint and a construction crew to help them rebuild the missing tissue.
Exactly. These biomaterials can be designed to release growth factors like the FGFs we discussed earlier,
Right.
or even contain specific cell types that can help orchestrate the regeneration process.
That's incredible. And another thing that caught my eye in our research is the role of nerves in limb regeneration.
Mm.
Apparently, if you remove the nerves from an axolotl limb,
Mm.
it won't regenerate. Why is that?
That's a really important point. Nerves seem to be essential for regeneration because they release certain factors, often called neurotrophic factors, that are crucial for blastema formation and cell survival.
Okay.
The blastema, remember, is that mass of dedifferentiated cells that forms early on in the regeneration process.
So it's not just about the cells themselves. The nervous system plays a key role in orchestrating the whole regeneration symphony.
Uh-huh.
It's like the conductor of the orchestra.
Precisely. And scientists are working to identify those specific neurotrophic factors and figure out if we can use them therapeutically to boost regeneration in humans.
This is all so incredibly complex, but it's also incredibly hopeful. I'm starting to feel really optimistic about the future of regenerative medicine.
There's definitely reason for optimism. We're still in the early stages, but the axolotl is showing us that limb regeneration and potentially the regeneration of other organs is not science fiction.
Right.
It's a biological reality. And by understanding the mechanisms behind it, we might one day be able to harness that power to help people heal in ways we never thought possible.
One of our sources, a research paper that really dives into the complexities of regeneration in different animals, highlights the importance of understanding dedifferentiation if we want to make progress in human regenerative medicine.
Absolutely. Dedifferentiation is the key.
Yeah.
It's that remarkable ability of cells to rewind their developmental clock and become more primitive, stem cell-like.
Yeah.
If we can figure out how to safely and effectively induce dedifferentiation in human cells, it could revolutionize regenerative medicine.
It's like unlocking a hidden superpower within our own bodies. But dedifferentiation seems so complex.
It is.
How do scientists even begin to approach something like that?
Well, they're exploring various approaches. One exciting avenue is using gene editing techniques like CRISPR.
CRISPR, isn't that the revolutionary tool that lets scientists edit genes? Like
Exactly.
something out of a sci-fi movie.
And with CRISPR, we can potentially manipulate the genes involved in dedifferentiation. Imagine being able to turn on specific genes, like MSX1, to promote dedifferentiation in injured tissues. It's like giving our cells a set of instructions to rebuild themselves.
Now that's mind-blowing. And speaking of different approaches, one of our sources talks about what they call intermediate models of regeneration. What are those and why are they important?
Intermediate models are fascinating. They're essentially animals that fall somewhere between the extremes of regeneration, the axolotl, which can regenerate almost anything,
Right.
and mammals, which are generally pretty limited in their regenerative abilities.
So they're like the regeneration rookies of the animal kingdom.
Exactly. And by studying these intermediate models, we can learn a lot about the spectrum of regenerative abilities and potentially uncover clues about how to enhance regeneration in mammals. One great example is the regeneration of digit tips in mice.
Okay, so mice can regrow their fingertips. That's pretty cool.
Yeah?
But how does that help us understand regeneration in humans?
Well, even though it's a smaller scale regeneration event, digit tip regeneration in mice shares some key molecular mechanisms with limb regeneration in axolotls. It's a valuable model for studying regeneration in a mammal and provides insights into the signaling pathways and genetic factors involved.
So by studying these regeneration rookies, we can gather clues about how to boost the regenerative potential in humans
Yeah.
who are currently stuck on the bench.
That's the idea. Each piece of the regeneration puzzle, from axolotls to mice to the cutting-edge research in labs around the world, brings us closer to understanding how to unlock this incredible ability in humans.
This has been an incredible journey so far. We've gone from the amazing regenerative powers of axolotls to the cutting edge of scientific research and the potential for human applications. What a ride. But there's still more to explore. Stay tuned for the final part of our deep dive where we'll look ahead at the future of regenerative medicine and what it might hold for humanity. Welcome back to the deep dive. It's time to wrap up our exploration of axolotl limb regeneration. We've gone from the cellular level all the way to cutting-edge labs where scientists are working to translate these amazing discoveries into therapies for humans.
It's been quite a ride. We've seen how these incredible creatures can regrow entire limbs, and we've explored the potential of applying those insights to revolutionize human medicine.
It's truly mind-blowing. So as we look ahead, what does the future hold for regenerative medicine? What are the big questions that scientists are still wrestling with?
One of the biggest hurdles remains understanding how to control dedifferentiation.
Okay.
We've seen how axolotl cells can revert to a more primitive state. But the big question is, how do we guide those cells to become the right tissues in the right order to form a functional limb?
It's like having all the pieces of a puzzle,
Yeah,
but needing the picture on the box to know how to put it all together.
exactly. We need to decode the signals that orchestrate this intricate dance of regeneration. And another major challenge is figuring out how to overcome the barriers to regeneration that we see in mammals. We talked about scar tissue, for example. How do we minimize or even prevent scar formation to create a more regeneration-friendly environment?
And then there's the immune system.
Yeah.
Our immune cells are great at protecting us from infections.
Right.
But sometimes they can hinder regeneration. How do we strike that delicate balance?
That's a crucial point. We need to learn how to modulate the immune response to support regeneration without compromising the body's defenses. It's a complex puzzle, but researchers are making progress.
One of our sources highlighted the potential of bioengineering to help bridge the gap between axolotl regeneration and human medicine. Can you tell us more about that?
Bioengineering offers some incredible possibilities. We can create biocompatible scaffolds that provide a structural framework for regeneration. It's like giving the cells a blueprint and a foundation to build upon. And we can seed those scaffolds with specific cells or growth factors to further guide the process.
It's like building a tiny house for the regenerating cells, complete with all the amenities they need to thrive.
That's a great analogy. And the advancements in 3D printing allow us to create these scaffolds with incredible precision, tailoring them to the specific shape and size of the missing tissue.
That's remarkable. It sounds like science fiction is becoming science fact. But as we venture further into this uncharted territory, we also need to consider the ethical implications. How do we ensure that these powerful technologies are used responsibly and equitably?
The ethical considerations are absolutely paramount. We need open and honest discussions about the potential benefits and risks of these technologies. And we need to ensure that everyone has access to these therapies, regardless of their socioeconomic status.
It's not just about the science. It's about how we use that science to create a better future for all.
Precisely. As we unlock the secrets of regeneration, we need to do so with wisdom and compassion.
This deep dive has been a truly remarkable journey. We've explored the fascinating world of axolotl limb regeneration, delved into the cutting edge of scientific research, and contemplated the ethical challenges of this groundbreaking field.
It's been a privilege to share these insights with you, and I hope our listeners are leaving with a sense of wonder and excitement about the possibilities that lie ahead.
I have no doubt they are. The axolotl has shown us that regeneration is not just a fantasy.
Right.
It's a biological reality. And as we continue to unravel its mysteries, who knows what other amazing discoveries await us. Thank you for joining us on this incredible exploration of axolotl limb regeneration. Until next time, keep diving deep.